Welcome back everybody, Matt and Brad here, hope you're doing well. So, The Whale, the new movie by Darren Aronofsky. Director is known for movies like Requiem for a Dream, The Wrestler, The Fountain, Black Swan, Noah, Mother, and now he has a new movie out. It's been over 5 years since he last had a movie out. Now he has a new movie starring Brendan Fraser, making his comeback to Hollywood. It's been a long time since we've seen him. I remember growing up with Brendan Fraser from the late 90s to the mid 2000s, from movies like George of the Jungle, The Mummy Returns, Bedazzled, Monkey Bone, Crash. There was a period where it was Brendan Fraser all the time, and I liked him, like in the Mummy movies. Rick O'Connell. Looks like I have all the horses. Hey, Benny. Looks like you're on the wrong side of the river. Oh, shit. So, Brendan Fraser's back. Darren Aronofsky's back. He's not in my top 5 favorite directors, but he's one of those directors and he doesn't make that many movies. What is that? I think I've only named about 7 movies he's made since the 90s. Since the mid-90s. He's one of those directors that when he does have a movie out, you pay attention. He's not one of those directors that puts out a movie every year or every 2 years. Like I said, it's been already over 5 years since he last had a movie out. The Jennifer Lawrence, Javier Bardem film, Mother. So, here we go. We've been hearing about Brendan Fraser for a long time during the awards festivals. Brendan Fraser is the top one right now for the Oscar. And I'm going to tell you, he's going to win. He gives a phenomenal performance in this movie. And forget about all the prosthetic makeup with the fat suit and the fat face and everything. Just watching his performance. I'm going to take away all the fatty stuff. He gives a phenomenal performance in the acting. Even the way he moves his body when he is standing up, moving around in the fat. It doesn't look fake. It doesn't look like it looks like he actually gained all that weight. Then he's acting alongside Sadie Sink, his daughter. Great. Acting alongside Hong Chow, who's kind of his nurse / best friend. Brilliant performance. He has a scene with his ex-wife, played by Samantha Morton, and it is one of the most powerful scenes in the entire movie. Them going back and forth, it is truly an examination of a character and character study and phenomenal acting at hand that I cannot stress enough. That when you see this movie, you need to watch the acting by Samantha Morton and Brendan Fraser in this moment, in this scene. It is phenomenal. Just that scene alone says Oscar. So Brendan Fraser is all of it. He gives these little monologues that you see a little bit in the trailer, but it's so powerful. And it is so believable, it doesn't feel like he's acting. I think that's what I got out of it. Like, I don't see... Once again, I just read at the beginning of this review all the movies that I remember from Brendan Fraser. Or Blast from the Past. That's another one. With Alicia Silverstone. But when I was watching this movie, I did not see Brendan Fraser. And that is a testament to the acting on hand. Yeah, you might look at the poster and say, Brendan Fraser. But when you watch the movie, I saw the character, not the actor. And that is a very powerful thing for a movie like this, where you know that's Brendan Fraser, the actor. And he's in all that fat suit. But he gives a phenomenal performance that just resonates. And that is something Darren Aronofsky does well. Not well, great. You go back to like Requiem for a Dream with Jennifer Connelly, Jared Leto, Ellen Bernstein. Great performance. I think Ellen Burstyn got an Academy Award nomination. Maybe a win. You look at The Wrestler. That got Mickey Rourke his Oscar nomination. He should have won. Look at Black Swan. Got Natalie Portman her Oscar win. Even in, like, Noah. Not a great movie, but good performances. You look at The Fountain with Hugh Jackman and Rachel Weisz. Great performances. You look at Mother with Jennifer Lawrence. So that was one movie that people said, oh, Jennifer Lawrence has gone from Hunger Games to full-fledged adult actress. And then you also had Javier Bardem in that movie. He knows how to get great performances out of his actors. Once again, like I keep telling people, the number one job of a director is to get the best performance out of them. Then we move on to Sadie Sink, who plays his daughter. Sadie Sink has had a banner year this year. Between Stranger Things Season 4, running up that hill. And then she was also in that short film by Taylor Swift. And Dylan O'Brien was also in that. So between a short film, Stranger Things Season 4, and now working with Brendan Fraser and Darren Aronofsky, I'm telling you, this girl, this 20-year-old girl, young woman, is going places, people. Her performance in this movie, she is not likable at all. So forget about what you think of Stranger Things and her character in Stranger Things. Here, you don't like her. She's a, as her mother calls her, she's a terror. We raised a terror. Who does that sound like? And you really don't like Sadie Sink at all in this movie. And that's almost like the brilliance of it, that you like that you go from Stranger Things to this, and you see a whole other range to Sadie Sink. And I think a lot of that has to do with, like I said, the direction by Darren Aronofsky, working with a guy like Brendan Fraser or Samantha Morton is just powerful, powerful performance. Getting into Samantha Morton, she has one scene in this movie, and it's a great scene. It's a long scene, very long scene, but it's not long either. It drags out. It's long. Yeah, it's long, but it's just a powerful performance of her and Brendan Fraser going back and forth. That I wish we actually had more of her character in this movie. But one thing it reminds me of, like Michelle Williams in Manchester by the Sea. Not a huge role, but she had that one moment in that movie just completely knocked it out of the park. And that's what Samantha Morton does here. Scary thing to seeing Samantha Morton in this movie, since this year was the 20th anniversary of Minority Report, where she was one of the precogs in that movie. So 20 years later, wow. Ty Simpkins plays like a young Bible salesman, goes door to door, goes to Brendan Fraser's apartment, tries to, bring the word of God to him. Ty Simpkins started out all the way back in Insidious, playing the young boy. Then he went to Iron Man 3 with Robert Downey Jr., then Jurassic World. And then we saw him again in Avengers Endgame at the funeral, where everyone said, who's that kid? Who's that guy? And they were like, oh yeah, that's the kid from Iron Man 3. Now he's back in a Darren Aronofsky movie. He's fine in the role. I would say he's probably the weakness in this film. One thing when you're going up against Brendan Fraser, Samantha Morton, Hong Chow, and even Sadie Sink. And I think he's playing just a, Bible salesman. So, but I think he did a fine job. And then Hong Chow, like I said, plays the nurse/friend to Brendan Fraser's character, and she does an excellent job. Like I said, a lot of these characters have their moment to shine. Hong Chow has about one or two moments. One with Brendan Fraser, and then another one with Ty Simpkins outside on the deck of Brendan Fraser's apartment. And it's a powerful scene. It's one of those scenes that, supporting actress nomination easily. I don't think I've seen Hong Chow in anything. Maybe I have, and she's kind of unknown for me. But after seeing her in this movie, I go, I want to see more of her. The makeup and prosthetics in this movie, top notch. I never felt like they looked, off or like fake. Like, that doesn't look good, that doesn't look right. That definitely looked like makeup, bodysuit. It looked really good. I'm Brendan Fraser. One thing I love about this movie is the themes. Something that Darren Aronofsky does so well in his movies are his themes of addiction and obsession and religion. You see addiction in movies like Requiem for a Dream, The Wrestler, Black Swan, and now this movie. You see obsession. Once again, you just look at addiction as an obsession. Requiem for a Dream, The Wrestler, Black Swan, this movie, and religion. Religion is also another huge part of Darren Aronofsky's filmography. Going back to The Fountain, there was a lot of religious themes. Noah, that's a no-brainer. Noah, to Mother, had a lot of verses from the Bible reinterpreted. Then you have this movie, I think you have a Bible salesman preaching the Word of God and saying, the end of times and all of this. So Darren Aronofsky works to his strengths as a filmographer, as a director. And you see this in this movie. This movie, what I loved about this movie is it is the unofficial trilogy of three movies. It is the unofficial trilogy of The Wrestler, Black Swan, and The Whale. When you watch all three of these movies, you deal with addiction. Mickey Rourke is addicted to wrestling. He can't stop. Even though his doctors say you gotta stop. You have a heart condition. He doesn't care. Black Swan. Natalie Portman is trying to get the starring role in Swan Lake. She'll do anything to get it. If she needs to sleep with her instructor, she will. If she needs to, have a lesbian sex with Mila Kunis, she will. She'll do anything to get the starring role. Doesn't matter if it's working her to death, if it's killing her in some way or another. Doesn't matter. And in The Whale, Brendan Fraser is over 600 pounds. He's dying. He has a heart condition. He keeps eating and eating and eating. He won't stop. He orders a pizza, 2 large, giant-sized pizzas, a giant sub. Eats it, doesn't care. Even though he has a heart problem, he deals with obsession, addiction. And that's what all three of those movies, yes, you look at Requiem for a Dream, but also with these movies, I'm not going to spoil the ending, but if you see The Wrestler and Black Swan, they are the exact same ending. Let me repeat that. The exact same ending. Even down to the way he shoots, and then the transition is exactly the same. And even while I'm watching the movie, I'm like, this has a lot of familiar to The Wrestler and Black Swan. To the point that we got to the end of the movie, the final shot, going into the end credits, and the moment happens, I go, this is Darren Aronofsky's unofficial trilogy to The Wrestler, Black Swan, and now this. This is the third film in the trilogy, The Whale. And I loved it for that reason. And this is a great character piece, just like The Wrestler, just like Black Swan. This is a character film. Almost 2 hours of just character development, character piece, examining a person. Something he did so well in The Wrestler, something he did so well in Black Swan. What makes a person so addicted to something, obsessed? And I think that's especially when this is based on a play, the Whale is based on a play. It's in one location, Brendan Fraser's apartment, and it's only deals with 4 characters. The main characters you see in this movie are Brendan Fraser, Ty Simpkins, Hong Chow, and one scene from Sadie Sink, and one scene with Samantha Morton. So 4.5 actors. The character piece. Its cinematography looks great by Matthew Libatique, who did Black Swan, and I think he did The Wrestler too. He's worked with Aronofsky a lot in his career. He also shoots it in 16:9, only 16:9 frame. It looks, the ratio, 16:9 ratio, it gives you that kind of claustrophobic feel. Nothing that you do with a 600-pound person in a little apartment, so it gets you a little uncomfortable. So, great movie. My only negative with this movie, I think it does run a little too long. It is almost 2 hours long. I think you should have put it like an hour and 45. There are a few moments that are repetitive, and I don't know if that's because of the play itself, or that's just what Darren Aronofsky wanted to do. Nothing to do with addiction and obsession. Seeing things repeated. That's just in the mind of a person. Keep doing it, and doing it, and doing it. So if it is on that level, great. If it's not, then I think this movie could have been about 10 minutes shorter. But overall, I give this movie a 5 out of 5. This is one of the best movies of the year. Brendan Fraser is phenomenal. He is definitely the top choice to win Best Actor. I would not be surprised if Hong Chow gets nominated for supporting actress. Maybe even Samantha Morton might squeeze in there. Sadie Sink just showed outside of Stranger Things. She is a young actress that you're going to want to keep watching and see where her career goes. And Darren Aronofsky, to me, I didn't like Noah that much, I didn't like The Mother that much, but this goes back to Black Swan, and Black Swan is my favorite Darren Aronofsky film, so I really enjoyed this movie. Go see The Whale, you'll really enjoy it. Brendan Fraser, that Oscar's coming for you.